Welcome to the Learn Academy. Today we'll be exploring fractions. Now, fractions is one of the most important and one of the most easily understood concepts in mathematics. Fractions exist all around us, not only in our classes, not only on our clocks and our watches, but also in our daily lives, and it will exist throughout our entire lives. Now, what is a fraction? A fraction is a portion of a whole. A fraction represents the equal parts of a whole. If the parts of a whole are unequal, they do not represent a fraction, because as said before, a fraction represents the equal parts of a whole. Why are fractions important? Fractions are important because they provide information on the portion that is required. Fractions are used in baking, cooking, fashion, time management, retail management, chemistry, and other scientific areas. Fractions are also important for students because it helps them to grasp and understand the various concepts that are related to fractions, and this forms a fundamental basis or foundation for their future understanding of mathematical concepts. The key mathematical concept of fractions will exist throughout the lifetime of all students. There are three parts of a fraction: the numerator, the denominator, and the fractional bar or vinculum. The numerator is the top number and it represents the part or portion of the whole that you have. The numerator is above the fractional bar. It is very important for you to be able to identify all three parts of the fraction. The denominator is the number below the fractional bar, and it represents the whole or the total number of parts. The fractional bar or the vinculum is the horizontal line that separates the numerator from the denominator. The denominator is the number below the fractional bar, while the numerator is the number above the fractional bar. There are 5 types of fractions. There is the unit fraction, proper fraction, improper fractions, mixed numbers or mixed fractions, and equivalent fractions. Now, these 5 types of fractions have various characteristics and properties that help students to identify them from each other quite easily. Now, we will explore these types of fractions individually as we progress along with our lesson. Unit fractions. Unit fractions are fractions with a numerator of 1. Example: 1/6, a half, 1/10, 1/3, a quarter, and 1/5. All of these are examples of unit fractions because their numerator is 1. Proper fractions. Proper fractions are fractions with numerators that are lesser than the denominator. Examples of proper fractions include 5/6, 5/12, 3/4, and also 3/6. These are all examples of proper fractions. Improper fractions. Improper fractions are fractions with numerators that are greater than the denominator. Examples include 5/4, 7/6, and 10/9. As you will realize, the numerator is larger than the denominator. Mixed fractions. Mixed fractions are comprised of a whole number and a proper fraction. Improper fractions become mixed fractions. So that is the relationship between improper fractions and mixed fractions. 2 and 5/4 is an example of a mixed fraction. Equivalent fractions. Equivalent fractions are different fractions that represent the same fraction or number. To create these fractions, the numerators and the denominators must be multiplied by the same whole number. That is the key rule in the creation of equivalent fractions. You may also choose to divide. Steps in creating equivalent fraction. First, choose a non-zero whole number. Multiply the numerator and the denominator with that whole number. Take for example, half. We would multiply the numerator by 2 and the denominator by 2 to create the new fraction 2/4. This number or new fraction is our equivalent fraction. Now you could multiply it by 3 and get 3/6, and this 3/6 would be equivalent to a half, similarly to how 2/4 is equivalent to a half. And we can find numbers that are equivalent to a half by multiplying by various whole numbers. It doesn't matter if it's a large one or a small one. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Mathematics is a lot of fun, and join us on the Learning Academy so that we can help you to discover your love for mathematics and your love for various mathematical concepts, and we will show you how easy it is to understand and grasp all of these. Thanks for watching.